Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about user controls in WPF. So the idea behind user control is to be able to create your own user control by using one or more existing controls, or put them together and create your own user control so you can reuse it throughout your application in different pages, in different windows, so on and so forth. Okay. They're relatively easy to create and use, so let's get going. So basically I have a new project. It's called WPF User Controls. So far I got nothing here except this highlights, key points, and code behind file. Nothing here. So basically the usual default project code. Okay, so for our first example, we are going to look at something we did in one of our previous tutorials. I think it was the repeat button. Let me bring that up. So basically, we create this repeat button. Time picker, and with using repeat buttons. Okay, let me run this real quick so we know what we are talking about. Okay, so basically I have this time picker here made up from 4 repeat buttons and text block. Okay, so we had the increase hour, decrease hour, and same thing with minutes. Whoopsie. Increase and decrease minutes. Okay, that was our time picker from our previous tutorial. So we are going to recreate this as a user control so we can reuse it. Okay. Alright, so I think it was inside this grid here. So we have a grid with 4 repeat buttons and a text box. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste this. I should copy just for now. Let's go to our new project. Okay, first thing I want to do, I want to create a folder actually here because we are going to have multiple examples. So let's keep things a little organized. Alright, so I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to call this my user controls. Okay, next thing I want to do, I'm going to right click, say add. Now here we can say new item or user control. If you say new item, you're probably going to have to scroll through and find the user control, but if you select user control, it's by default it's going to select it for you, so you don't have to look for it throughout this list here. Okay, alright, once we select our user control WPF and C#, let's get a name, or you can keep it default name if you want to, but I'm going to call this my time picker. And hit add. Okay, so it brought us to a new project, which is really inside the same project, but it's a user control. And we are presented with this window, borderless window, and it looks like a regular main window, but you'll notice it doesn't have the window Chrome where it says the application name or title. It doesn't have that, and then it's completely transparent unless you want to make it different color. By default it's transparent, so I'm going to flip this panes just like I do with my regular projects. Okay, and inside here I'm going to actually the whole thing, I'm just gonna paste what I copied from the other time picker, paste right here. Okay, so as soon as I do that, I get my 4 buttons and my text block here. Okay, so if I run this, you'll see nothing's gonna happen because we didn't do anything yet with it, and we get this build error. So we got still work to do before we can run this. I think that because of the build errors come from, let's check the errors, but I think it comes from this click events. Yep, this click events we have here. So I gotta bring those event handlers from our previous project as well. So I'm gonna go back to my repeat button tutorial and get the event handlers for where was it? Right here. Okay. Alright, yeah, that was not the user control. So the event handlers I'm looking for: button increase event, hour, decrease hour. There's 2 plus the other 2 for the minutes increase, minute decrease. So I'm gonna copy and paste those. Okay, and go back to our new project or user control. I'm going to find the code behind file, which is inside here, TimePicker.xaml.cs, and copy right below the constructor. Okay, so we got our event handlers. Forgot the variables. Gotta get the variables too. So let's go back and in this variables here too. Copy and paste right here. Okay, that should take care of those errors. I think there's one more thing I need to get, and that's this line of code inside the constructor that gives the initial value to our text box. So copy and paste right here. Okay. All right, let's run this again, see what happens. So once we run this, we see our main application starts, but there is nothing that shows whether we have that user control or not, because we haven't used it yet. So what we need to do inside our main window.xaml, first we have to add that namespace, which is basically the same namespace here. I'm just going to copy and paste this and get a different name here. I'm just going to call this UC, and right after this end of this line here, I'm going to say dot user controls. My user controls, my user controls, select that. Okay. All right, so dot my user controls. Okay, so once we have that, we are ready to use it. Okay, so I'm gonna go add a new stack panel here to our second column. So let's go stack panel, create dot column 1, and expand this. So now that we have this namespace here, I can start using my user control. Okay, so I can say UC. As soon as I type that in, bring that up, close this out, and you'll see it's added to our project. And notice this look is totally different, because this one just we have a grid. It kind of evenly distributes things based on values we have here, but in here it adjusts the height and width based on our stack panel. Okay, so let's run this and see how it feels. Okay, it's still working. Perfect. Perfect. Oops, my mouse kind of acting up. All right, so that was our first example, and let's check our toolbox now. Now if I scroll up, you'll see our user control is listed here. Now I can grab, drag and drop it anywhere I want to. Okay, now I can create multiple time pickers as I wish in different location, different oops, let me actually try to get rid of that, and see, this is a grid here, so it's kind of not letting me drop in there, but let's see, maybe I have to scroll this over to this side. Just want to show you that I can drag and drop in there too. I'm sure you're getting the idea. There you go. So now we can reuse our control anywhere we want to. Okay, that's a big plus of having user controls, reusable controls. Alright, now they are all, let's make sure they're all working. And again, depending on your the element that you're using, whether it's a stack panel or something else, it kind of changes its size, but you can adjust it as you need to. I mean, we can set the height in here, say let's resize these panes. You can go in here, say height 60, or this one can say height 80. As you can see, you can adjust height and width and other properties. Okay, so that's our first example. We are going to probably, I think we don't have much time, so we are going to continue with other example in our next tutorial. Okay, until then, take it easy.